silver quick, sipping about to crash. Hit that whiplash, hit that whiplash.
Yeah, I got a one and I'm at the Nashville.
What's up, everybody in the Wind World? I'm once again Kevin Mumphrey, and we're in Nashville doing another industry spotlight. And today we're talking to artist Grasshopper God. How you doing today?
How you doing, man?
Now, first I gotta ask, where'd you get that name from?
Grasshopper God is an amalgamation. My artist name is Blow, and Grasshopper God was just kind of like, you know, like that sounds sick. My last album's name was Grasshopper, and yeah, May 28th when it released. Stream that shit on all platforms. But I got the name because like I like the idea of a grasshopper, that it's always jumping from one place to the next, like getting resources, like learning, going to the next spot. So like, you know, Star Wars too, it's just like, you know, like young grasshopper, just always learning shit, jumping from a new place and learning stuff. So I'm really good at that, so I'm like kind of the god at that. So that's me, Grasshopper God.
The god of moving forward. I like that.
Yeah.
So where did your love of music begin?
My love of music began, see, like I grew up listening to like all sorts of stuff. I got family in like New Orleans, and so I listened to like a whole bunch of the old funk and soul, Etta James, B.B. King. But then my real love began when I was in high school, and like I was going through YouTube comments, just like I was listening to like, I don't know, like the 8 Mile soundtrack or some shit in high school, and then I saw in the comments that said, yo, this is not nearly as good as Illmatic or The Chronic 2001 or like all these other like rap albums I never heard of before. So then like sophomore year of high school, I just went down the rabbit hole of all the 90s rap, and I just like could not get enough of that shit. So I think that's like the first time I like fell in love with it, because it was just like I would stay up late, just keep listening to more and more albums. So high school.
So what made you go from listening to hip hop to actually writing?
To writing. Now, that's a fun process, because in high school and listening to all like the old break beats, like, you know, Cool G Herc, it's a not Cool G Herc, DJ Herc,
yeah,
and like all the guys like African Bambaataa, like I listened to all those breaks. And when I was in high school, I did break dancing for a little bit, and so I used to like dance to rap music just like in high school as part of like a dance crew. And then in college, like I did like, I just loved like obscure beats and obscure stuff, that I just went to battle rapping in college. So I get drunk and then like start talking shit to somebody, and then you know, after a while, like, you know, a whole crowd would just gather around me and someone who was like a rapper as well, and like of course they're like, let me roast white boy, I'm gonna get his ass. And so I would start just rap battling them, and yeah, so that's where I got, like, you know, you get your ass beat at that a couple times and you start getting good at it. And then gave it a break for a couple years, and the 4th time I dropped out of college, I started making beats. And 4 years after that, I'm here, and it was just like, I don't know, it was like a steady progression from like dancing into like improvisation to production to writing, because I actually already had a good knack for writing and stuff, so it was just really cool to make that transition. Like it was just kind of more true to me. So yeah.
You won't be doing too much more battle rapping anytime soon?
No, man. I got my nose broken in one of those, so like.
Wait. How did that happen?
Oh, Jesus. So it was something along the lines of like, there's this one guy, I still remember his name, CJ the General. I was living in Colorado at the time, and CJ the General was down in Aurora. So it's similar as like Nashville to Antioch, where it's just like, if you want to go there, there's gonna be some wild stuff there. So see, the General had 3 of his buddies, and all of them were like, we're gonna trash this motherfucker, blah blah blah. And like I said this one line, I can't remember it exactly, but it was like, I'll call you Will Smith, you must be the butler, and you're the uncle man that used to fuck all each other, something like that. And like, yeah, so I was kind of going for the throat, and they didn't like that one bit. There's, you know, things were said, you know, someone punched me when I wasn't looking. It was just like, you know, you learn your lessons.
I guess that was the end of that.
Yeah, it was the end of that. Yeah, I mean, like, it's still like, the story kept progressing, but I don't know what your viewers want to hear.
Probably don't. So when you make beats, so what would you kind of, as far as like influence wise, what would you go for as making beats?
Well, it started off with like 90s boom bap. Obviously, like I'm a sucker for anything like East Coast rap, and I think like, my voice just cracked, I think like everybody out here in Nashville is a sucker for that too. So like I just was like a 90s boom bap kid for a while, but then yeah, in college I started listening to EDM and stuff, and I was like, there's got to be some way to like mix these together and like have like distorted and synthesizer stuff with rap drums, because like the drums in hip hop have always been what sets it apart from every genre. So like I was just like, yeah, all right, and you start killing the drums, and yeah. I don't know. It evolves every time. Like every session that I start, it's like, that's a new sound. I think I can do this with it. Like I sampled like just a bird chirping and made a song out of that, and then like, I don't know, just add distortion to everything and see what happens. But
so when you were making your beats, were you making them for other artists or primarily for yourself?
Initially, I was trying to make them for other people, but what kept getting in the way is that when I called myself producer solely, I would work with artists that didn't know what they wanted. So I kept doing what I wanted to do, and then there's always these mishaps, just like, well, make it sound like this, make it sound like that, make it sound drippy, make it sound wavy, like make it do these other things, and like that was never my forte. So it took me like 3 years of production to realize I think I just make like I think I make blow type beats. Like I don't think I make anything that sounds like anybody else, and I really don't want to like take away my artistic, you know, leniency on that for someone else's standards, because like my shit hits and I'm very happy where it hits.
Now for like younger producers who are just kind of figuring it out, so
yeah.
what made you kind of realize like these beats are probably more so for me than necessarily for other people?
Because when I kept working with different rappers, like I remember showing this one beat to like 6 different rappers and just like kept showing it off to people, and it never got any credit, but like the entire time I was sitting there I'm like, this shit goes so fucking hard, like y'all keep missing out on this. And so like after the 6th person I'm like, I don't think they have the ears that I have, you know, like I think they're listening for something different and their goals are different. So I don't know, just one day it clicked, I'm like, this makes me happy, and if there's any producer out there who like, what direction do I go in? It's just like, dude, you keep doing something that sets you apart from everybody else, like Pharrell Williams or like Timbaland. Like when you hear a Timbaland track, or especially a Pharrell track, you know it's his. So like that's honestly the kind of the best advice. Like don't make tight beats, just like be you.
Now, one of your singles actually got you signed. Can you talk about that process?
Yeah, I got I went on vacation like last year. I went like on a 2-week road trip during COVID, like up to like Delaware, like Hampton Beach up there. It was just like looking around at just like the beach and stuff, and I came back just super inspired. And I came back like all the riots were happening, and I've always had a huge disdain for cops, police. Like I don't like them. I just don't like them. I always feel anxious when they're around. I never feel safe. When there were ones behind me, I'm like, dude, this motherfucker. Like I'm like legal. I got like everything's up to date. There's like all my lights work. I'm like, this guy's gonna get me for something. I just know it. So I got back from vacation. I made this song called Facelift, and like I think the beat took me like, you know, like an hour and a half or 2 hours to make or something like that. I knew what I wanted, because like, yeah, so like the chorus just goes like, fuck the cops, I make him chase. Yeah, I make him chase. I repeat that 4 times, and then I scream and I go, fuck about my face, bitch, catch a facelift. Pretty simple song, but I don't like cops. So it was just like, you know, so I'm screaming on there, I'm doing some like punk rock stuff, and yeah, just that's how I got started. And I went to a podcast interview with Foundation Mecca, you might know him, and Adeli, Haru Heel Hop, just quick shout him out. They got me an interview with these guys over near Belmont called The Upstate Sound, and yeah, I showed them that song, and they're like, hey, we're gonna shoot a music video for this, and we're no longer only a beat making thing, like we're gonna turn it into a label, and we want you to start putting stuff like that into our hands, and so we can start pushing it and make it larger. And so, yep, that's why I'm here. So then, yeah, so you can check that music video out on YouTube, The Upstate Sound, and yeah, man, it's aggressive.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Now you put out your first project in May. Talk about that process.
Yeah, good lord. I think up to this point, like me as an artist, like I was always trying to set myself apart from other people in the sense of like, all right, white rapper, don't do Venom and Adrenaline, like, you know, like the Eminem thing, like Anderson Silva's pack to pack, leg, lax and like all that dumb shit. Like I was like, all right, don't rap fast, don't do some dumb shit like that. Like what else do I have left to talk about? And it was just like, I'm gonna talk about everything in my life as much as I can. So with Grasshopper, it kind of reflected where I was at in my life at that moment, like, you know, beginning of this year, late last year, just you know, getting over a heartbreak that happened like 3 years ago, and just still trying to let that go because it was like a lot. And then also getting over like a family member passing, so I was just like, all right, well, let me try to put that in the music. And so like, you know, the album is basically 2 parts. Like there's this first 6 songs and the second 6 songs. It symbolizes jumping to a new leaf. The 6th song is called New Leaf, so it's just like wanting, like forcing a fresh start on myself through music. And so yeah, that's how I got to be. So like the first half is pretty much just electronic sounding bangers, and the second half has got more like soul samples, and you know, I got Ronnie Laws on one of the tracks, and try to make it kind of like lo-fi, just, you know, more like contextually more hip hop sounding. So yeah, so that right there was just like me forcing myself to turn a new leaf. Like, my music reflects my life, and like I might as well have my life reflect my music too. So I was like, maybe it'll work in reverse. So that makes sense.
I can appreciate a guy who takes his life and then make art out of it.
So like, otherwise it's not real. And that's what all the music I've ever liked is just like stuff where it's like, hey, that came from a real place and I fuck with that. So like, even if it's like their least favorite song, I'm like, nah, that's my favorite song, man. That's so cool. So
I can
creative art.
that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for talking to us today. Let everybody know where they can find you.
Hey, my name is Blow. You can find me on Instagram at _Blow. That's BLEAUX. At Instagram, not Instagram, at Facebook with at _BLEAUX. You can find me in all streaming, BLEAUX, and then yeah, YouTube. If you want to check out any of my videos through the Upstate Sound, and you can find that at the Upstate Sound. And that is all I got for you.
Well, thank you. I'm Kevin Mumphrey, Win Radio, and we're out.